Yeah. So let's start the class. And today we will learn about regular expressions. But before we move on to that, if anyone has any questions regarding yesterday's uh, topic and you still cannot understand anything, still cannot understand something after watching the two videos I texted in the group, you can ask me. Yeah, so I guess there are no doubts. So we'll start with regular expressions. Is there anyone who has any prior experience with regular expressions? Any experience whatsoever? Okay. So I'll tell you this myself. Wait a second. Yeah. So let's start, and I'll share the screen. Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible? Am I audible? Because when I'm sharing the screen, I cannot see the text. Yeah. So let's start. First of all, what are regular expressions? Regular expressions are a set of strings of characters, set of characters and symbols which defines a fixed pattern which is meshed in a larger string. Let's say we got something like an email. Alright, so the email, so this is one of my caps. An email has a fixed format. There's the username, then there's the @sign, then there's this the domain name, then dot, then the .com or .org, whatever the thing, right? So this is a fixed pattern of using an email, right? For example, this is a pattern of writing date. This is another pattern of writing a date. Then there's this pattern, and then there's this pattern, like so. All of these can be extracted from any document. Let's say there's a document of around 1,000 dates. Right. There's a 10 MB file, all right, and there are thousands of dates in every line. And let's say there's a date in some lines, there's a date, there's not a date in another line, right? So we can extract all of them by using regular expressions. And Python has a specific module for regular expressions called RE. So we'll start by importing it using import RE. And I'll start with extracting a username, extracting uh, information from an email. All right. Then we'll move on to extracting information from these types of dates. Right. So first of all, the syntax is you first of all define the pattern, the fixed pattern, right, which starts with R, and then these or these, single quotes or double quotes. but I use single quotes, so I'll start with single quotes. And this is where you type in your pattern. All right. So these are what are the important symbols for regular expressions. Right now, I'll be typing what they are, and then I'll use them as we go. This is ends with, then this is, let's say, this one is starts with, right? Then we say star. Sorry, this has to be commented. Okay. Then there is star which says any character one or more times. Now, any character can basically mean a space, a letter, a word, a space, a letter, a digit, anything. Like, sorry, this was 0 or 1 time, right? Plus was one or more times. So then there's plus, which is any character one or more times. Then there's this, which matches whatever is inside these brackets. Like, then there's this, which is the start and the end. Fixed number of occurrences. P and C is, the spelling can be wrong, but yeah. Then there's a slash. We'll talk about slash in a bit. This is the basically the or operator, and then there's this, which is the group extraction. Right, so we start with this. So first of all, let's say input, and let's say enter your email, right? MAIL, then slash n, and this, right? And let's put it in a while loop. Let's not put in a while loop, otherwise there will be a breaking condition. Let's say this, and then we start defining regular expression, or regex for short, here. So we use pattern first of all, and we define the pattern. Now you can see we have to look at this, and we have to define a pattern. All right. Now you can see this is a letter. This is a letter. This is letter till the add part. All right. So every email will have an add part, and then there's this. Sorry. Yeah. Then there's a domain part, and then there's a fixed dot part. Okay, so these are the pivot points. So the only changes that occur are here, here, and here. All right, so what we can say is we'll use slash w character. Now what this slash w character is, as I told you, we'll talk about this slash. Yeah, we'll talk about this slash in a little bit. What this slash is used for is to basically define special characters. All right, now let's say this slash w we use this slash smaller case w is used for a letter. Alright, so what this means is this is a letter. Alright, as you can see, there will be at least 1 to n number of letters. Right, so we can use a plus here. Right, then we'll use an at. Okay, so slash w plus using backslash w plus actually says that there will be a letter one or more number of times. Okay, and then there will be an at sign, fixed at sign, and then another and then there will be 1 to n number of letters, then there will be a dot, and then there will be, let's say, slash w. Now I'll tell you this. All right, I'll type in 3. All right, so what this means is that there will be a letter only 3 times. Right, only 3 times. That means it will only accept domains that end with .com, .org, and stuff like that. All right, so we define the pattern, then this would be a string. This will do, let's just call it email, with an extra variable, and then we use the, and we create the result variable, and we say re as a module name dot find all. What this find all does is it matches this regex with any string that comes in. Right, so the syntax of find all will be find all will be the pattern and the string to search in. Right, so here our pattern is the pattern variable and our string is the email variable. Let's run this and see if it works. All right, so let me just choose email for a bit. Right, okay, we did not print the result. Email is equals to and email, right? We do it again. This pops up. We say this, which is AI. Right? We do this and this. Okay, you can edit it basically, so it comes out at gale.com, but yeah, you get the idea. So we finish this, we run this again, and this time we'll type something that is not right. Let's say at gmail.com, and we press enter. This was one or more things, right? Yeah, okay. So this comes out as at gmail.com. In what case will basically break? Like we use test at test.in. Okay, this will break it. Well, we should not be printing the email, we should be printing the result. But we'll stop this and we'll jump again. System will get that and run it again, and we'll use our last gmail.com. As you can see, this did not return anything. Why was this? Because there has to be at least one term after the add part. All right. Now, if I could have used something like this, not result, email dot split, right? And I would have split it at. And if I run this at gmail.com, you see this gives us a list. But if you use it somewhere, let's say you store this email somewhere, you have got the domain, but you did not get the username, or the thing before the username, this the add part. So it's better to basically use a regex for this. Right? So we'll try all types of breaking it. Let's say I start with test at test.in. This is also not accepted because this does not match this in any. Right? So this is a simple example of what regexes are, and they are fairly complicated to design. You will basically have to go hit and trial with them. You'll have to basically do something, then test the method, then do something else, then test the method, and then do something else. Right? So let's start with, let's create a new file here. And let's not create a new file. Now let's start with extracting these dates. Right, we'll start with extracting the dates, all kinds of dates. This date, then this date, and all of them. We'll try extracting all of them. So look at the first type of date. All right, it has two fixed 2 digits, then a hyphen, and then three um, let's say letters. All right. Now, if this was September, it would have been SEPP. Right. So we'll use this in an example so that I can tell you how to properly design them. Then there's this hyphen, and then there's this 90, which basically means 1990, as you can see right here. All right. So let's remove this, and we'll say date for now, which would be yesterday. We'll basically copy this, paste this here. Right. So you look at the date and you define the pattern. All right. So we'll say /d, which means a digit, then another /t, which means two digits consecutively, then hyphen, then as you can see here, there's 4 letters. Now there can be 4 letters, there can be 3 letters. So we'll say /w, and we'll use these. Okay. As I told you here, the start and the end. All right. So we'll say the minimum number of matches of W will be 3, and the maximum will be 4. All right. Then there will be a hyphen, and then there will be a /d and /t. Right. So let's try matching this, and I guess this should work. Right. So we'll run this, and this works perfectly. Right. Now we'll change this to October. So you can see this also accepts October as this. But if I say 1990, right? Sorry, this will not match the pattern. All right, this matches the pattern, but it only matches 19 part. not the 90 part, but the 19 part, because as you can see, this basically matches with this definition we did right here. Alright, so we can update this by saying something like the date can be the there can be 2 to 4 digits at the end, and let's remove this. There will be at least exactly 2 digits here. So what this says, there will be 2 digits, then a hyphen, then a word 3 to 4 times, then a hyphen, and then a digit 2 to 4 times. Right, so we run this again. As you can see, this gives a 1990 this time. Right, and if I edit this to say 90, this gives us 90. So we sorted out these 2 parts, these 2 date formats. So let's start with these as a whole, right? With these for now. Alright. So as you can see, there are no major changes here. There's this only this hyphen part that is extra. So as I told you, this is a set operator. Alright. What this basically says is whatever is in the set will be matched. So I'll define a set here, and then I'll say a hyphen or a slash, right? And then I'll go here, and then I'll say a hyphen or a slash. What this basically means is after this, I explained this to you already. After this, there will be a hyphen or sorry, hyphen or a slash. Okay, any one of them, not both of them, any one of them, any one of these characters only one time, any one of these characters only a single time, and then any one of these characters a single time. So we run this, and it works for these uh, hyphen. Let's work this slash part, and this works perfectly too. Then let's look at the dot parts. Now this is fairly easy to edit. We can just add this dot here and dot here. And the special thing is anything that is inside this loses the special meaning. So like, so when I write plus here, this does not mean one or more times. This only means a plus. Alright, inside the set operators, all of these lose the special meaning. Alright, then there are only the characters that are defined in them. Alright, so this is not the any character operator. This is only a full stop. Right, so this should match to, and this works. Alright, so these are the most common date types, and we extracted all of them by using a single string. Right, but now we see there's this part October 90, October 1990, June 20 this, and June 20th this. Alright, so we'll try matching them. So let's comment this and let's create another pattern, because as you can see we cannot extract this using by modifying this in any way, because this was basically the date, the month, and the year. Now it's the month and the year. Alright, the date part is missing. So let's look at this. Alright, so it basically has to be it has to be in R. Forget the R. It has to be in R. Then this, and then as you can see, there's an October thing here. Alright, so there has to be a /W 3 to 4 times, and then there has to be a compulsory space. Right, so you use the /s operator here, which is a white space operator. This specifies that this is a white space, and then there will be a slash t, which would be 2 to 4 times. 2 to 4 times. Right, so let's move this. Let's say October 20. And let's run this. And we extracted October 90. Let's extract October 1990. We extracted this too. Right, so this pattern works. We have sorted out this part again. Now let's say this is not Oct 19, it's not Oct 90, it's October 1990. Right? There's this complete definition here, the complete word here. All right. So that is basically uh, difficult to resolve, but what you can say right here is it should start with a J, okay, then an F, the March, April, there's an M already, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. All right. And then word, let's say plus sign. Right. Now, what this part basically means, let's put, let's not put this here. I'll tell you what this is, but yeah, what this means that this pattern should start with a J for January, F for February, M for March, A for April, and then the first set of every month, and then there will be a word, there will be a letter one or more times until you encounter space. All right, so let's run this, and this extracted perfectly. Now let's say October, and this extracted the October part perfectly. Now this thing with the complete word instead of the acronym part, and not the acronym but the short form part, is very difficult to program, because let's say you can use a constraint here, like the word will be the longest month name is September, right? P T S E P E E E E R. So you can say something like comma 8, and the shortest month name is May. Now you can say something like this. Now what this means is it will start with one of these, and then there will be a word 2 to 4 times, 2 to 8 times basically. So it covers September, which is SEPTEMBER, which is 9 letters, and it covers May, which is 2 letters. So let's run this, and it catches October, catching May. Run this, then it caught May, then we sorry. This is correct spelling, right? Yeah. Now let's say I say SEM September. This spelling. September is SEPTEMBER. What letters here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this should be caught as a pattern. Right? Now this is called as a pattern. Now I say I make a mistake and say RR. This will not be caught. Yeah. As you see, this was caught until this part matches, right? So first of all, it saw an S, and it's starting it with the entire searching part, and it looked here, and there were total 9 letters, but a 10th letter came in, and this part was broken. So it moved on to the next acceptable part, which was starting with M, 2 to 8 times, then a space. Right. So this is why um, the entire name part is difficult to program. A small error can overthrow your a small error on the user's part can overthrow your program completely. Right. So we basically covered this part too with regexes. And yeah, let's look at this part. Like, so we can just edit it here using, there will be a digit. I'll, I said there will be a digit, small d. Now, one thing to look at is a small d and a capital D have different meanings. A small j and a capital J are two different characters, they're not the same character. Alright, so when designing regexes, always be careful of the cases. Alright, the uppercase and lowercase. Alright, so let's say slash d, which will occur exactly 2 times. Then let's say there will be a th, right, and then there will be slash in. Now we do not know that the th will always occur. It could easily be 20 June 1990. Alright, so we can say this a t or h will occur either 0 times or 0 to 2 times. Right. Now we remove this and I'll explain this now. This is 2 digits. Then a T or H will occur 0 times, 1 time, or 2 times because there is no fixed uh, fixed part that says it will either occur or it will either not occur, and if it occurs, it will occur 2 times. There is no operator to say something like that. But this is a simple workaround, and then there will be a space. Sorry. Right, so let's say 20th June, as we said, 1990. Now this should be caught here. This is caught. Alright, let's move this, and this is caught too. Alright, so now we look at this part right here, and this part right here. Alright, so now you can see the only difference is that th is omitted, and instead of a space, there's a hyphen. We actually did what we had to do for omitting the th part. Alright, now we only have to work for the hyphen part. So I don't know if it works or not, but let's see. Let's copy this here, and let's basically, and this is caught, no problem, but I don't think this will be caught here. Well, let's use a workaround. Yes, this is caught. So as you can see, we also completely did this part. All right. Now something you will see is if I remove this, now it will not be caught because I said the digit will occur 0 or 2 times. exactly two times. So I'll say 0 or 2 times. So if there is not the date part, it will not be extracted. Now if I run this, and I'll have to say 0 or 1 times here too. So we run this, and this is caught here. So I'll explain this. This is a very complicated pattern when compared to the above pattern. So I'll explain this. This says there will be a slash d, a digit 0 or 1 time. I'm sorry, 0 to 2 times. All right, there can be one, there can be nothing, there can be two digits. Then there will be a th, not th fixed, a t or a h, 0 to 2 times. That means there either will be nothing, or there will be a t, there will be a tt, uh, there will be a h, there will be a th in all the combinations. So this part basically says that there will be any one of the t or h 0 or 2 times. Then this says that there will be a hyphen or a space and a hyphen, a space or a hyphen 0 or 1 time. All right, it will be there. This is uh, it will it will either be there or it will not be there. All right. Then there's this part, which is the start of the month letter, and the letter of the starting letter of the month. And then there's this part. If in case there's a longest uh, month name, then this says that there will be compulsorily a space or a hyphen, and this says that there will be 2 to 4 digits. All right. So we define two patterns. As you can see, we cannot pass in two patterns here. What we do is we copy this pattern here, and we say something like this, and we paste this one here, and we comment the one below, and we do this. So what this basically means is either match this string or match this string, right? And if one is matched first, the other is not matched. Like this is what this means. So let's try this with all of them. We paste this. Not no problem. Do this. It's got no problem. Then do this. This was not caught. Let me see why. It goes here. It goes this. So let's remove this and then try to catch it. It is not caught. Alright, so let's see why. There has to be 2 digits, which is done. There has to be either one of these. Then there has to be a word. Who designed this word? I designed this word. Sorry. So let's just replace it with a D. It has to be there exactly 2 times. Right. We'll save this and then we'll test on all of them again. Because as you can see, this is completely similar to this. So the other part, the end part, this part, will completely handle it, no problem. So let's start using them again. Save this, tweak it up, and right there is a digit 2 or more times, then one of these, then a digit 2 times, these, then a digit two times. Why is this not being caught? Now it is being caught. And if I add this, not being caught. I made no change, but somehow now it's being caught. No problem. And this is similar, this will work. Let's try this. And this is caught, this is similar, this is similar. Let's try this. Okay, something is caught because there's a space here. Right, so this cannot catch it, so if there's a double or, right, so now it should be caught. To edit this again, as you can see, the regex is tedious to work with. Ooh. Let's see, there will be digit 0 or 1. Send this again, now it's caught, but when I say this and this, do this again. Okay, I'm making literally no changes, but I don't know why it catches it sometime and not other times. But as you can see, I made literally no change, and now it caught it somehow. And now this is fairly similar. Let's try this one because we already tried the second last one. And paste this, and this should complete our test cases. And this finishes our test. Right, so these are almost all of the methods of writing dates. All right. Now, as you can see, designing a regex basically took us about 30 minutes, right? And in this 30 minutes, I can export basically all of the date types. Otherwise, if I would have used split, I would have to use, and I would have to use if statement and then something else and something else and something else. It would be let's say nest of conditions basically, and even after that it would not be 100% confirmed that we have got the correct dates, right? So while regexes are tedious to work with, they are great for data extraction and really used only for data extraction now, right? So as you can see, we extracted everything. Now a general tip is, and the way I did the regex part, or the way I designed the regex is, you should design them the same way. That you should take a test case and you should take a case, you should design something on it, and then take another case. And if there's only a little change that needs to occur, right, then you can do this, make the change. And if there's a larger change that needs to be made, you can let's say create a completely new pattern and use this or path, all right, to differentiate the two patterns. All right. Now, as you can see, this pattern and this pattern, and this pattern could have been edited to form a single uh, pattern without using this AND part. But it was way better to do it this way because let's say there's a small change or a very small format change. All right. So if something is caught wrong, that is no problem. But if something is not caught, that is a bigger problem. You can always clean the data, but you cannot uh, clean the data that is not being fetched already. All right. So if if your regex makes a small error, that is no problem. Let's say if there's something extra that was not supposed to be caught, that is no issue. But it should catch the necessary part because data can be cleaned. But the data which is not being caught cannot be cleaned. Right? So that's it for like it says. I'll share the link in the group where it defines all of them because you rarely use all of them. The most important ones are this, what the full stop. There's there's this is used somewhat, like this is used a lot. This is used somewhat, I would say, and this is used a lot. I'll share a link because the test cases for these are really low, and I cannot think of anything. But yeah, so I guess that's it for today's class. And if anyone has any doubt, they can ask me right now, and I'll share the link, which basically has more direct functions which are rarely used but are still there for you to know, and then the various examples of these extra operators that we did not talk about. Alright, so does anyone have any doubt regarding today's session? Alright, so no one has any doubts regarding today's session and any doubts regarding the assignment. Right. And one other thing I was thinking of substituting a Flask with Django basically because Django requires a lot of background knowledge to work with. All right, so there are small changes that you have to make in the login system. Let's say uh, in Flask, the login system is really tedious, and it would require a lot of time to for me to explain it, which would have to be like going into the actual file, going through the classes, going through the methods, and how the data is shared between them. On the other hand, the Django part is fairly, let's say, automated, and Django does most of the work for you. So after this class, I'll just post a question, and you can research between Flask and Django, and tell me which you prefer. Okay. So I guess that's it for today. Attendance is done, and you can leave the class. Thank you. Turn off the recording, please.